W-T-L.
It's time!
W-T-L.
I think we got a show. Oh yeah, we got a show.
W-T-L.
And welcome back, everybody, to WTL. That stands for Where's the Line, Nebraska's first and only sports betting show. I'm your host, Andy Klassen, joined by
Jabron.
We got you back.
Yes, I am back and better than ever. Sorry for missing last week, but yeah, just had to.
Hey, we need our parlay pounder.
We do, and I will have that stuff for you at the end of the telecast, but let's get this first segment rolling.
You're already starting with the suspense. I do want to tip of the cap, shout out to Jeremy Odom.
For sure.
Did a fantastic job. And oh, by the way, he was on fire if you followed him, especially those
he was.
YouTube shorts we put out before the NFC and AFC championship games. He was smacking them all over the place.
Yes, he was. I almost called that upset with the Niners, but still covered. Still covered, and that's what we're all about, is just cover.
Just cover. So, how does that saying go? Close counts and horseshoes and hand grenades. Not sports betting.
Nope.
Well, we want to talk a little NCAA basketball. We're towards the end of January, getting ever so much closer to March, and we got a Thursday, Friday, and Saturday afternoon lineup.
Yeah.
We're going to be touching them all. Big 10, Big 12, and, of course, the Big East. But we got to start in the Big Ten.
Yes, we do.
We got to start at home.
Yep.
The Big Red, the Huskers, are playing host to the number 6th ranked team in the nation. That is the Wisconsin Badgers.
Yeah.
That's going to be a 7:30 tip-off, primetime on BTN. You say Nick Baugh's going to be on the call?
Nick Baugh and Kugler for sure. It's going to be a good one.
Good. Great tandem there. Great broadcasters. And hopefully this will be a great game. If the books have anything to say about it, it will be, because this is a little bit tighter than what I thought I was going to see.
For sure, Andy. Like you said, coming into it, Nebraska's at home, so they're giving them a little bit of credit here. But the line's only plus 1.5 towards Nebraska. They're only getting a 1.5 towards the number 6 team in the nation that's already beat us. Obviously, that was in Wisconsin, Andy. But you can't feel good about this being a Cornhusker fan coming off the loss to Maryland. Didn't show up.
Got pummeled, 73-51. 73-51.
No doubt about it, Andy. But there is hope, Andy, because we are on a 7-0 streak at home for the Cornhuskers.
Okay.
The only bounce back on that is we're 0-4 the last 4 games on the road. So it just seems that this Nebraska team really gets up for their home games and can't travel. They just come out dead energy all the time on the road, but this is in Pinnacle Bank Arena, and the people really get going in there.
Hey, and they got some pelts hanging on the wall at home.
They do.
Which includes the number 1 team in the nation. That's what everybody's talking about. And I just checked out, before we went on air, bracketology. We're still the last 4, and we're in.
We're so much of a bubble team. It's crazy, Andy. Right now, if we can get this win, we're definitely in. They couldn't keep us out if we have a win over number 1 and number 6. They just could not do it.
You just keep losing those road games, and then it's easy to say, they can't travel. We're the only team in Big Ten history to finish 4th or highest and get snubbed out of the tournament. Somehow that happened to Nebraska. I can see that being the first time ever a team knocks off a number 1 ranked team that late in the season and not make. It's just so on brand for the Huskers.
For the Big Red. But you got to look at this game from a betting standpoint, Andy, and think that money line for Wisconsin is just free money.
Come on.
Minus 120 right now, money line for Wisconsin. I just think it's too good of a deal to pass up right now. This is just for them to win. Don't have to cover any points. Even the 1.5 spread, it looks pretty good for me, Andy.
Yeah.
Just on the Badgers side, this is a team that's just pummeled Michigan State, just pummeled Minnesota, just pummeled Indiana. This team looks like one of the best teams in the nation. 8-1 in conference, 16-4 overall. I got the Badgers tomorrow, but I will be in attendance in Lincoln cheering for the Big Red.
So you're gonna bet with your head, cheer with your heart. You're not gonna do anything goofy and wear like a red Wisconsin jersey or anything.
I will be decked out in Herbie Husker gear.
And we've seen it before. For some reason, the Huskers just hit another gear at home.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I wouldn't be terribly surprised, but I would be surprised if they win in this spot. You're not going to sneak up on Wisconsin. You never could since you beat them, what was that, like 5-6 years ago?
Exactly. And with Nebraska playing so well at home, they're going to be prepared for it.
Yep.
Beating Purdue and just having some really nice games the last 2 times out at home against Ohio State and Northwestern. 2, pretty decent teams in the Big Ten, especially Northwestern with that 6-4 record in conference. So I really like the way that Nebraska plays at home, but this Wisconsin team just seems a little bit too much. And, the homeboy Chucky Hepburn's going to be in there raising the crowd a little bit. So I like Wisconsin, especially at the rate we're getting them at.
Mast, I need you. I need your 3-point shooting and your rebounds again. He's averaging over 8 per game in rebounds, and he's leading the team. And when he catches fire from beyond the arc, obviously a very tough out are the Huskers, especially at home. And Wisconsin, I think, with all that being said, I side with you on this one.
For sure, Andy. We should just touch on it a little bit because the line is out there. The over-under on this game is at 144.5, Andy.
Okay.
I really think that it gets there because I do believe Wisconsin, just the way that they shot against us last time, shot over 50% from 3. Nebraska can shoot that well from 3 as well.
They want to.
Shooting 46 against them last time. So I really believe that this score can get up that far, especially if Wisconsin can do their part with getting 85 points, which I think they will.
Hey, and Welcher, for some reason, he can turn it on at home.
No
and he
doubt.
can sink the threes.
No
so
doubt.
there's a path there. And
I like the over as well.
Okay, should we move on to Friday?
Let's do it.
A Big East matchup. This is going to be in Omaha on FS1. Butler, the Bulldogs, are coming to town to take on the Creighton Blue Jays. Butler's just always there.
They're just always there.
14-7. Right now, currently 6th in the Big East.
Yeah.
Creighton, we all know about Creighton. They're 16-5, sitting currently in second, the 2 seed, ranked 13th in the nation. There's not too many holes in Creighton. For some reason, they just have these lapses, and no one can put their finger on it.
Yeah.
Shout out Chucky Hepburn. Of course, we always got to talk about Baylor Shireman, 18 points per game.
Yeah.
He's also leading the team in rebounds per game, 8.1. His stat lines, he is starting to have some all-time stats especially if you go back to his days in South Dakota. It's just crazy the career he's had thus far. And once again, I think this is going to be a really tough out for Butler. You just got to keep your eye on how far that line's going to get out. Is it going to get 6-7 points? I wouldn't be surprised. But if it gets there, then I like Butler.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised, Andy. I think this is more of a 4 to 5 point line, especially with the way that Butler's played so lately. Just got a double overtime win against Villanova, beat Georgetown in DePaul, played Xavier,
spanked DePaul, just like they were supposed to. Just went to Chicago and spanked them.
Exactly. And then they had a really close game against Seton Hall as well. So, I do believe it's going to be a close contest, but Creighton playing in Omaha, it's a different beast. Just like we talked about with the Huskers, this is just as good as atmosphere in Creighton, in Omaha. I really like the Blue Jays to pull this one out, especially at home. Yeah,
and I don't see any emotional letdown after the pink out game. That's always such a special event, but there's been some times that's passed. I've been able to catch a breath, get back into practice, all those good things. So I think we're all on Big Blue here, and we're talking about Billy the Blue Jay, not the Butler Bulldog.
Yeah, for sure. And Kalkbrenner has been on his game as of the last few games, putting up some big numbers, looking like he's hustling a little bit more than he did earlier in the season. So I really like him to have a huge game here along with Baylor and Trey. So, give me the Blue Jays all day on Friday.
Oh, talking about guys on the game, Trey Alexander. He is the reigning Big East Player of the Week.
Let's go.
So come on, defend home.
They will.
Once again.
Go Blue Jays.
Here's a big one. This is a big one. Saturday, 3 o'clock, tip-off on ESPN. The Houston Cougars, who are currently 19-2, everybody, are heading on over to Lawrence, Kansas to take on the 17-4 Jayhawks. You got to think the Jayhawks will probably be a slim favorite here. However,
I don't know.
Everything is pointing towards Houston right now. Ken Palm has their rankings has them number 1 overall. These guys are tearing it up after back-to-back losses to start the season. Oh, they've just rattled off 19 wins.
Yep, for sure, Andy. Houston looks really good right now. I mean, they just took an overtime game away from Texas at Texas, which is a very good resume builder. Just beat the brakes off Kansas State, BYU, UCF, Texas Tech. So they haven't had a lot of close games. It was really nice for them to have that close game against Texas and come up on top. on the road. That's a huge win. Kansas, on the other hand, has not played very well on the road this season. Iowa State just lost to them on the road. West Virginia lost to them on the road. But this is a team, Andy, that has one of the best traditions in college basketball when they're at home. So I do believe Houston is going to be favored in this game just because of the woes that Kansas had lately. So you might want to look at that plus. If Kansas is getting points, I always like Kansas when they're getting points, especially at home.
I was going to say at home, that's a whole nother story there, but golly, it's really tough to go against Houston.
Really is.
But they got to lose sometime, right?
Yeah.
You like to think that on this 19-game winning streak, and Kansas has done this before. Yeah, they've let teams taste defeat before.
Yeah, for sure, Andy. The one thing you got to look about at Houston, Andy, is their defense. They are so good at defense, only allowing 52 points a game, Andy.
Ooh.
But this is going to be pushed to the test with a Kansas team that puts up 80 points a game. Yeah. So this is kind of the test here.
Right.
Houston defense versus Kansas Jayhawks offensive basketball. I can't wait to watch this one. If Kansas is getting +4, +5 points, I'm hammering the Jayhawks.
Now, I know you recognize the old ball coach. Everyone knows Bill Self.
Yeah.
Do you see who Houston's coach is?
I don't know.
Kelvin Sampson.
Woo!
That takes me back to the old high school days when we used to have to run the Oklahoma offense, instilled by Mr. Sampson himself.
Yep.
So shout out to old Christian Freelander, old high school coach. His guy, one of his mentors, guys he used to look up to, still getting it done. Currently ranked first in the Big 12 with a 19-2 record. But I think we're looking at I hate to pick the Jayhawks because I'm wrong when I'm with them. I'm wrong when I pick against them.
Yeah.
The Jayhawks are my kryptonite, so I'm just being honest here. I'm going to sidestep that like no other.
That's not a bad thing to do, especially on a big-time game, number 4 versus number 8 in the nation.
Right.
I like the Jayhawks if they're getting points. If it's just a money line bet, I think Houston can pull it off.
There we go. Well, you heard the horn. That means we're up against it. So let's recognize one of our fabulous partners, and that is the Stock and Rod Company, an outdoor lifestyle brand for those seeking adventure. Whether it's hunting, fishing, hiking, they got you covered. Visit stockandrod.com to get your wild game on. Don't go anywhere. This is WTL. And welcome back, everybody, to WTL. Where's the line? Nebraska's first and only sports betting show. I'm your host, Andy Klassen, and I'm joined by
Jabron.
Oh, the Parlay Pounder.
You got it. We're back.
Back in your rightful place here on WTL.
You're correct.
You're feeling better. You're a little under the weather there.
I was, and I just didn't have the voice.
Okay.
I didn't want to not give it to the listeners with that scratchy cold that I had. So, nope, back. I'm ready to go. Can't wait.
Got to have that voice. Got to have the voice. All right, so we talked a little NCAA basketball.
Yeah.
Now we're going to move on to the association.
Yes.
NBA with some headliners here coming up this weekend. Let's start with the biggest of them all, storied rivalry. We're heading back to the Garden, Madison Square Garden, for a Saturday 7:30 tip-off on ABC. The Lakers, Showtime, is going to be in town, but I tell you what, the Knicks have taken 2 of the last 3 from the Lakers.
Yeah.
And I think I just looked at it. Lakers are a game under 500 right now, like 24-25?
They're 24-25, Andy. Like you said, the Knicks, very, very good team in the East this year. 3rd in the East right now, 31-17.
Yeah.
A couple reasons that I'm going to be on the Lakers for this game, Andy.
Okay, here we go.
Julius Randle is out for a couple weeks for the New York Knicks. Mm-hmm. Anthony Davis has just rested a game. That means he's going to be back. And, you know, LeBron
he just took his game off.
And LeBron really likes to show out in New York City.
Wow.
I think the Knicks will be favored by, 3 to 5 points, and I believe that the Lakers are going to win this outright.
They're just going to win outright.
They're going to win outright.
Wow.
You have to give it to these New York Knicks have been playing so well. Just put down the Utah Jazz. Jalen Brunson is a perennial all-star, looks like. 29 points in that contest. I just don't believe that they have the size now without Julius Randle to compete with huge bigs like LeBron James and Anthony Davis to bang with them under the rim.
And okay, so you already checked on Anthony Davis, and he took his game off, so he's going to play. What about LeBron? Because he does that load management too.
He does too, but not against New York New York.
Not in Madison Square Garden.
Nope.
Because I don't know where you can really poke a hole in the Knicks this season. They're only a half a game back behind Boston, the Atlantic Conference there. They are 31-17. This team, they are full of grinders. Third in the NBA in rebounds, and then just really good numbers across the board. 3-point percentage, they're 10th or 11th. Points scored, they're sitting 10th or 11th. So they're just a complete team that's not afraid to get their nose dirty.
No doubt about it.
And this is the type of team, a rebounding team, that gives the Lakers trouble. Even though the Lakers are taller and more athletic than everybody, for some reason they can't out-rebound it.
No, I totally agree, Andy. And like you just said, Dante DiVincenzo for the New York Knicks just came off his best game of the year, 9 triples in the game.
Big East.
Had 33 points. I'm not going to say this is going to be easy for the Lakers. I just think with the subtraction of Julius Randle out of that Knicks lineup, I do believe the Lakers have a fighting chance in probably in New York, where LeBron likes to show out.
Now the Lakers are currently sitting fourth in the Pacific Division in their division. Are they in any kind of scare to make the playoffs, or do they just pretty much take everybody? They don't care.
They take the top 10 teams now with the play-in tournament. They're currently sitting 9 in the Western Conference, so they pretty much have a spot. It looks like. I do believe they'll probably end up a couple games over 500. I just believe the thing with the Lakers are just get healthy by the end of the season, and they're going to have a chance against anybody.
All righty, so you're being a homer here a little bit, but you have good reason. Randall is out, one of the leaders, captains of the New York Knicks, and when the lights are bright, that is when LeBron does like to show out.
Exactly. This past week, starting the week, Lakers played a double-time overtime game against the Warriors, took Steph and LeBron to the breaking point, and Lakers came on top of that one, so I'm taking them again in another primetime slot against another primetime team.
It's not like the Lakers forgot how to win or anything like that. It's just that sometimes they shut it off, and they're a thin team.
They're
top
very
heavy.
thin team.
Yeah, they're top heavy.
They're very top heavy. If those two don't play, it's very hard for them to win.
All right, should we move on to Sunday?
Let's do it.
5 o'clock tip-off on ESPN.
Yeah, this is a good one.
Yes, it is. The Clippers are heading down to Miami.
Welcome to Miami.
To take on the Heat. Now, the Heat were on a 7-game losing streak.
Yeah.
They just snapped it. They got off the schneid. Now they're hosting the Clippers.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy, Andy, to look at a team that's 25-23 that has a 7-game losing streak. So you know that they're pretty good, and they still show out, every game.
They're still leading their division by half game.
Exactly, and they just took down a really, really good Sacramento team at home. Jimmy Buckets obviously leading the way with 31 points, 7 rebounds, and 6 assists. The guy can do it all. So I really like this matchup, but you got to look at the Clippers on the other side, Andy. Mm-hmm. They are playing very good ball. Just went out to the East Coast, took on the Wizards, and their big guy, the Claw, just put in 31 as well. So this is going to be a very good game. I do believe the Clippers will be probably favored in this one, especially if all their guys are playing. If Miami's getting any points here, they might be in the right direction to get a game on a primetime slot here.
For all the things we like about Miami, they're still only 2 games above 500. They're sitting 7th currently in the Eastern Division. So there's a lot of ways to look at this Miami team and think, I got to side against them. But at home, it's something different. And also, the Clippers having to go clear across the nation, maybe a little jet lag, all that type of stuff.
Yeah, and they just lost. Like I said, they did beat the Wizards, but they did have to go to Cleveland the game before that. Lost to the Cleveland Cavaliers, but you do got to look at their repertoire of work the last 4 or 5 games, beating Boston, beating Toronto, beating the Lakers, beating the Nets. This Clipper team is for sure, and I think they're going to be there at the end this year. So I really like the Clippers probably to take this one down. If Miami's getting any kind of points, maybe look that way.
And the Clippers, they're one of those teams that where SportsCenter always cuts out a little time for them.
Yeah.
So when you're one of those teams that ESPN or SportsCenter kind of works their or show around for you,
Yeah.
you know you might have something, might have one of those seasons.
And especially with this game being on the mothership at ESPN, you know that Kawhi is going to play. You know James Harden's going to play. And Russ is going to be able to want to get some points in there too. So I do like the Clippers. If it gets too outrageous, though, with points, maybe look at Miami to cover.
All right, well, we're not done.
No.
Sunday.
Yeah.
That was the 5 o'clock. Now we got a 7:30 tip-off on NBA TV.
Yep.
The Blazers are taking on our Nuggets.
Yeah.
You're thinking the Nuggets are going to get a little bounce back here after dropping one to the Thunder?
Yeah, Andy. For one, the Thunder is the second best team in the Western Conference, so they are a very, very good team. And by the way, they took them to the wire, and they didn't have the MVP playing. They did not have the Joker. He just took a rest day with his back. He had lower back problems, a.k.a. didn't want to go play that game.
Load
management. But he is going to eat this Trailblazers team alive. This Trailblazers team, 14-33 on the year, one of the worst two teams in the Western Conference, along with the San Antonio Spurs. I just, especially with this being on NBA TV, you know they're going to pump up the Nuggets so much on this one. I really like the Joker in this one, and probably look at that triple-double plus money because he's probably going to do it.
How's Jamal Murray doing? I was looking at some of his season stats. He's only played in 34 games.
Yeah.
It seems that that's really been his bugaboo, but a season ago when they went on their championship run, he wasn't hurt.
No.
He was healthy the entire season, and they needed him.
Yeah. Just this game against the Thunder, everybody's looking for him to, kind of be the point scorer. Didn't end up happening. Joker's still the man.
Yes, he is, averaging 26 points per game. Murray's still averaging over 21.4 games. I think Aaron Gordon's your guy. When he's rebounding, when he's banging down low, and people can't play off too much of Nikolic, really load up on him, and they have to give at least a little respect to Gordon, the other big man down there. That's when Denver, I feel, is just really, really tough to handle.
They're really tough to beat, Andy. To me, they got a really, really good starting lineup, like you said, with Aaron Gordon. And when Michael Porter Jr. is hitting those threes and in that starting lineup, they are so hard to beat, especially just being a Mike Malone coach team and got that grit, and then Joker just not giving a hoot against who he's playing. Or
he don't give a hoot.
He really doesn't. He just puts it out there every night, and he's going to make short work of this Blazers team on Sunday.
It's almost like he's kind of tone deaf to how a game's supposed to play out, how a season's supposed to play out. I thought that it's still gaining traction. Some of those shorts out there where LeBron obviously flopped against him, and then the next play down he flopped, and LeBron's like, "What are you doing?" He goes, "Yeah, you want to play? Let's play.
You want to play? I'm the MVP. I've won more recent MVPs and championships than you have.
Just hilarious.
I know you're the star boy, but I can still do it too. You got to look at Denver, Andy, because there are only a game back from having one of the best records in all of the NBA, 33-16. Game and a half back of the Timberwolves in the Western Conference. It is so fun to watch the Timberwolves doing so good because, we're so close to them and everything, but that Denver's not far off, especially when they put that healthy roster out. They are my favorites to take the championship again this year.
No, in the Northwest, they're only 4.5 games back, that half game now to the Thunder, but these are your top tier teams.
Yeah.
Blazers are sitting there in the 5-hole in the Northwest Division.
Yeah.
14-33. There's just not much to really hang your hat on with Portland since the trade.
No, it's been real tough. Dame Time looks like he's made a new home in Milwaukee. With the Freak.
Yeah,
it just looks like it's going to be bad time in Portland for quite a while here.
Yeah, they are 4-6 out of their last 10, so not bad. But Denver is sitting at 7-3, and they're looking to take care of business at home here. Like you said, NBA TV. What is your number, though? I mean, if 8, 10?
It'll probably be about an 11-point to 12-point spread, and I like them to cover.
And Denver by 20.
I like Denver by 20. They're just going to get up on them by so much that the Blazers are going to be
pack it in.
They
know the drill.
Yep, and Nuggets will play halfway through the third quarter.
All right, well, let's take a minute to recognize one of our fabulous partners, and that is the Nebraska Brewing Company. We've been enjoying a Bavarian wheat beer known as the EOS. The unfiltered EOS is a fresh, sweeter style Hefeweizen, thanks to its notes of vanilla and nutmeg. Nebraska Brewing Company, world class in every glass. Don't go anywhere. This is WTL. And welcome back, everybody, to WTL Where's the Line, Nebraska's first and only sports betting show. I'm your host, Andy Klassen, joined by
Jabron.
the Parlay Pounder.
You got it.
And we got to get back into your wheelhouse here. UFC Fight Night back at the Apex, back in Las Vegas. It just feels right. 6 o'clock Central Standard Time is when all the fun begins.
Yes, sir.
And you better get there early because there's a headliner, you could say, of somewhat on the prelim card. It's going to be wrapping up with, oh, how the mighty have fallen.
Yeah.
Molly McCann, Meatball Molly.
Yep.
Still a favorite, taking on a gal out of Romania, Diana Belvita, and you do have McCann as your minus 265 favorite. However, she's on the prelims.
Yeah, Andy. Diana Belvita, Warrior Princess, punched her ticket with a 4-fight win streak of her own here. She currently sits just 2-4 in the UFC, though. This is a fight where they're trying to get Molly back into it.
Yeah, exactly. That's how I look at this one.
I have to admit that I remember her. She faced this girl in her debut back in 2019. Both women have noticeably,
Mm-hmm.
gotten better since this, but I follow. I'm following the same script on this one. Molly Meatball.
They got a proper backup.
Yeah. Bellavita using her size and power as the edge and strikingly, only to be let down by she has very, very bad takedown defense, which Molly is going to destroy her with.
Yep.
Though McCann's grappling remains a step below, very, very top brass of
the
UFC
elite.
like Blanchfield.
She's not ranked anymore.
Exactly.
None of that jazz.
It's good enough to carry her past a one-dimensional striker, even as a smaller woman. I really like Molly McCann here.
Yeah.
And the line shows it. I believe she wins this by unanimous decision.
You can bet this fight's still going to catch more action than maybe some of the fights on the main card. For no other reason, everybody knows Meatball Molly.
For sure. She's still an attraction. She's still fun to watch. Patty the Batty's probably going to be there cheering her on. So,
sure.
I like her by unanimous decision, especially if you want to get a little bit more propped up on those odds, Andy.
All right, that's a strawweight bout. Should we move on up to the main card?
Let's do it.
We're going to stay with the women's division here, and we're going to go to the flyweight, where the number 7 contender is taking on the number 9 contender. 2 fighters out of Brazil. So how many does it take to make a Brazilian? Well, 2 in this case.
2 in this case.
Vivian Arejo is your favorite over Natalia Silva, who is mentioned again. She is the number 9 contender. So this is a very even kill as far as the paper is concerned. Fight right here. Yeah, it is, Andy. But the way that the book looks, it's way out of whack. Obviously, Silva looks like a minus 350. Huge favorite. Huge favorite here. Arejo is plus 285 just on the money line. Vivian comes into this one off a bounce back win. They're both coming off wins. They're both coming off wins. Proven that she still can compete, Andy. But this is a very good thing for the UFC that she won that fight, so they can still use her as a prop up for this emerging star, Natalia Silva. So Natalia Silva looks to continue her impressive UFC run here. I think this is going to be a really good fight for her. I expect Silva to take the next step by downing her way and win this and get into title contention. So I really like her right now, and I think it goes the distance as well. I mean, that minus 340, though, is there any type of a prop or any way you're trying to get some value out of this one and still stay with your gal Silva? You got to just dive into it a little bit. And I think it's going to go the distance. So if you're looking at that 3 rounds, Natalia Silva by decision is just at a minus 150. That's a lot better bang for your buck there. So if that's what you're looking at, if you're looking to bet on this fight, take Natalia Silva by decision, minus 150. Definitely a very good parlay piece. Yeah, I like minus 150 a lot more than I like minus 350 or 340 or whatever. She's definitely going to win, and I believe this is the method she is going to use. It's going to go the whole fight. And, it's going to be a good one. I can't wait to watch it. It looks like it's going to be a really good one. Should we move on up the card? Let's do it. We're talking men's now. Lightweight bout where you have the 13th ranked contender taking on the 15th ranked contender. Yeah. So once again, on paper, this looks like a very even matchup. You got a Brazilian once again. Renato Marciano is a slim minus 142 favorite over Drew Dober, the American. Yeah, Andy,
I think this should be this is one of my favorite fights of the night, obviously. The American, I love Drew Dober.
Hey, that guy's got a chin.
He really
He's
does.
got a chin.
And I really think he has a very good shot at pulling up this upset here, Andy, with some plus money on the line. Like you said,
both are coming off wins. Both these
are coming
fighters.
off wins. Marciano is a tall grappler with great submission and much improved striking, although he is still a rather hittable and doesn't take punches well, Andy.
Yeah, I mean, he's 5'11" and 155.
Exactly.
So
it's crazy.
I got to feel like he also has to cut a lot of weight.
He does.
I mean, if you're going to be that tall and fight at 155.
And he kind of lings over it. He's not very good at getting out of the way. And with Drew Dober is one of the most credited knockout artists in the UFC with 9 to his credit. During his time with the promotion, he has been submitted several times during his UFC run, however, all by very talented submission artists like Islam Makhachev and Dariush. So I really like Dober to get this one. Marciano's coming in this with a big mouth, thinks that this guy isn't anywhere near what he needs to be. I got Drew Dober in this one. I can feel he can force a striking match here long enough for Marciano with a big shot and get the knockout, Andy. And the way that you got to look at this one is you can get big plus money on the knockout here. Let me find the line quick.
Dober has 10 more wins in the UFC.
Yeah.
Marciano. He's 27-12-0 for 17-5. So a lot more tread on the tires, as we always like to say, but you're thinking Dober can handle this one.
Dober by TKO is at a plus 225 right now. Ooh. I believe that is the most likely outcome of this fight. Plus 225. If you are totally against me with Marciano winning this thing by submission, if he gets him on the ground, that's at a plus 120. So either way you're looking at this fight, either way which guy you want to win the fight, there's plus money to be had on each side. I'm on the Dober side. Go America. Go KO. TKO.
USA.
Yep. Knockout. Dober by knockout. I got it.
And just straight up, he's at a plus 120. So you're getting plus money by decision either way. So if you're rolling with the United States, Drew Dober, double D.
Yeah.
You got to like that plus money.
I love it. I love it.
All right. Should we move on up to the headliner?
The headliner.
Number 8 versus number 11. Boy, they got some really good, even matched up here as far as, like we say, like on paper.
Yeah.
A young man out of Georgia, Roman Dolidze. He's your plus 140 underdog.
Yeah.
Taking on a young man out of France, Imanov. He was at minus 166.
Yeah, Imanov is definitely the favorite here, Andy. His last fight was ruled a no contest after an accidental clash of heads against Chris Curtis, but he was destroying Curtis until that moment, so I believe that should go in as a win. I think the bookmakers kind of count that as a win, but before that, he lost a decision to former champ Sean Strickland.
Oh, everyone loses to Sean. Everyone loses to Sean.
But it was still a very competitive fight. It was impressive that he took it to the 5th round against a guy with the stature of Strickland.
Yeah.
And sure, Roman on the other side is coming off a competitive defeat against Marvin Vettori, one of the other good, good fighters in the
big time
division.
striker.
And many thinking he should have won by decision, but it wasn't as close on the rewatch. Vittori did beat him. So I believe this is a very good fight. I believe Imanov is just a little bit better than him. And when you're getting plus money with Imanov to get a knockout, I believe it's the way to go. Like just like Dober, he's a plus 225 with the TKO. I love this line right now. But if you're just on him to win, it's a straight up minus 160, which is a good parlay piece as well.
Yeah, when you're talking about striking, Imanov definitely has the edge there, landing over 4.5 per minute compared to just at 3 there for Roman. But when you get into grappling, is this where you might feel, a little bit of hesitation here? Dolidze has a better takedown accuracy, but Imanov might have a better takedown defense. So it's kind of a strength on strength when you get into the grappling.
It really is, Andy. And a lot of people, I just don't think that there's really an advantage for Dolidze on the submission part of this or even on the map. Imanov here is a cleaner striker with higher volume. Right. I think he has better footwork and big main event experience. So I think that's a big checklist for Imanov across all 3 things. Obviously, this is the UFC and anything can happen. But the way that I'm looking at this, Imanov is just a totally out-of-class fighter for this guy. This is going to be a very fun fight to watch, but Imanov has it in a runaway, I believe.
I mean, this is fight night, and we're having a lot of fun here. A lot of ranked fighters squaring off, trying to get up the rankings there, get in that top 5 breakthrough.
No doubt.
But, man, everybody is looking at UFC 299 and 300. Now, are you taking out a second mortgage? Are you going to try and get out to 299 or 300?
No, I mean, I would love to do these things, Andy, but these are just fights that are going to be so expensive to go to. When you just look at what's going to happen here, 299 is going to be headlined by Sean O'Malley, Dustin Poirier
in Miami.
Kevin Holland, Gilbert Burns, Peter Yan. These guys are all on that one card, and then you look a couple, a month from that, and they haven't even begun to tell you what UFC 300 is. All they've told us is Justin Gaethje versus Max Holloway.
Yeah,
they told you that.
That's all.
Weili Zhang's going to be on there. Charles Oliveira's going to be there. Prohaska's going to be on there. Aljamain Sterling's going to be on there. So they are unloading. Bo Nickel's going to be on there. They are unloading for these 2 cards. And I cannot wait to order them both and watch them in the seat of my house. I would love to go to both of these, but I'm just not a millionaire yet. Yeah,
Bo Nickel was on Joe Rogan not too long ago talking about UFC 300. And it's
going to be so awesome.
He's planning on just continuing his reign.
He will.
He's just thrashing the UFC. Pretty wild.
Yeah, no, I can't wait for it. It's going to be a lot of fun. So, this is kind of just the filler while we're waiting for those 2 cards.
Well, let's take a minute to recognize one of our fabulous partners. There's the timer. We are right on it. Weren't we? Right on the nose. Nebraska Brewing Company, world class in every glass. Don't go anywhere. This is WTL. And welcome back, everybody, to WTL. Where's the Line? Nebraska's first and only sports betting show.
Yeah.
I'm your host, Andy Klassen, joined by
Jabron.
Oh, there's the parlay.
Let's go.
And you know you got to bring a parlay here.
Got to.
Got to wrap up the show right. We got Parlay Pounder back.
We do.
On the airwaves, and here we go. We got to do a little preview. We got to do a little look ahead of the game, I guess everyone's talking about.
Super Bowl. Let's go.
Sunday, February 11th. That is a 5:30 kickoff on CBS, and I think it made a lot of eyebrows get raised up a little bit when San Francisco came out as your favorite. I saw a lot of 1.5, 2, and it's just getting bet back and forth between 1.5, 2, 2.5, then down to 1 real quick.
Yeah, I really don't know how this is going to end before next Sunday, Andy, who's going to be favored or whatever. The line that I like right now, Andy, if you're saying that the 49ers are a 2-point favorite right now, I can, in almost any book that you go to, you can buy a couple points.
Okay.
On any book that you go to.
All right.
I'm the Kansas City Chiefs plus 3.5 points. I believe is a lock bet.
Right.
I believe it's a lock bet. On books that I'm looking at right now, it's a minus 180 bet for the Kansas City Chiefs plus 3.5.
Buy them points.
I just don't believe that they're going to lose more than 3.
By a field goal. They're not going to lose by more than a field goal.
I'm more than likely they're going to win this game, Andy. And I can't wait to watch this game. This is the matchup that everybody's wanted to watch. And I just love that it came down to these 2 teams. But Kansas City Chiefs plus 3.5 points, I believe, is a surefire way to win some money on Super Bowl Sunday.
Yeah, we don't want to give too much away, and it's real early, and we're still out there. And, of course, we're going to spend a lot of time next week talking about the Super Bowl.
Entire show.
What about this total? The over-under is in there at 47.
I mean, Andy, I just believe that with these 2 defenses, this might get bet down a little bit.
You think so?
But with how prolific these offenses are, Andy, this is all the stars anybody could ever want in a game. We're talking Patrick Mahomes, one of the best quarterbacks of all time. Travis Kelce, probably the best tight end of all time. Christian McCaffrey,
can make a case.
Best offensive player in football right now. Brock Purdy with everything to prove as Mr. Irrelevant.
George
Kittle, another. Debo, Ayuk. It just goes for days. I can't wait to watch.
I think it's Kansas City's defense that you got to look out for. I think San Francisco, everyone's stuck in week 12, week 11.
Yeah.
Since that time, they've been nothing fancy. I think they're like a mediocre, ranked 23rd in the league since that time. So overall defensive stats, I'm saying since week 14 on.
Yeah, for sure.
You know what I mean?
Obviously, they're not as hell-bent on keeping people out of the end zone as earlier in the year, like you said. And another great look that you have to do right now, it's going to get bet up. Kansas City Chiefs team total right now is at 22.5 points.
Oh, wow.
This is the Super Bowl, people. You do not think that Patrick Mahomes is going to score 24 points in the Super Bowl?
Yeah.
He's going to score 24 points in the Super Bowl. Get this while you can. Over 22.5 points. It's a freaking lock.
I like that.
If there is. You just got to, this is some of the stuff that you got to look for the week before the Super Bowl, because this stuff's going to get bet up. I wouldn't doubt this if this gets up to 26 points by next Sunday, Andy.
Do we want to get into some of these props? Because there's some wild ones out there. There always is.
A lot of fun ones.
I think I might be the most boring player prop bettor ever, because my favorite ones are all minus 200 or something right now. I'm looking at McCaffrey anytime touchdown, minus 210 on a lot of books. Yeah. I just think he's going to score a touchdown. He scored 15 out of the last 18 games.
You got to.
I mean, and you being the parlay pounder, this might be one of your legs here for a parlay, because I just feel like that you're just taking a Christian McCaffrey anytime touchdown.
Well, Andy, if you look on DraftKings Sportsbook right now, I mean, you have to throw that in. I did the terrible thing of this last Sunday, Andy.
Okay.
They had it on the book. Christian McCaffrey to not score a touchdown was plus 300.
Okay.
I thought that was too good of a thing not to take.
Right.
Obviously, he shoved that in my face, putting 2 friggin' touchdowns on me. I just believe that it's definitely one of the safest plays of the Super Bowl is to Christian McCaffrey to get in the end zone.
All right.
He's going to.
Now I'm going to get just about as boring here. Travis Kelce, over 6.5 receptions.
Easy money.
I mean,
easy money.
He's beaten that. I think 6 of his last games, he's hit his total and gone over.
Yeah.
He's averaging 7.5 catches per game in the playoffs. And you want to talk about a receiver, tight end, quarterback chemistry?
Yeah.
It's unbelievable what those two guys do. And it's come out and everyone knows it. There's a lot of plays he doesn't even run the route. He just runs to where he knows he'll be open. And Patrick Mahomes always kind of has it in the back of Travis ain't running the play. I know he's going to be over here. I know he's going to be over here. That one play lasted 14 seconds.
Yeah.
Where Baltimore did everything they had. They had him boxed up.
Do whatever they want to do.
And the pocket finally collapsed. And nobody knew what to do. And he just sidearmed it to his right. Kelce, a diving catch for the first down.
And Kelce's playing his best ball of the year now.
Yes, he is.
He is a man on fire. He brings the energy. He is definitely going over on those receptions. Probably anytime touchdown scorer as well.
Yep.
Got to look out for that. I love those receptions, though. He is going to be looking for him the entire day, Andy.
Do you got any more player ones, or do you want to get...
I got one more player one that I think is a very great value right now. I believe it's going to get even worse with the odds. So right now, Nick Bosa over 2.5 total tackles is at a minus 170. I believe it's going to be a minus probably 200 to 300 by the time Sunday rolls around.
Yep.
I love Nick Bosa in this game. He's going to get after it. He's going to try and penetrate this offensive line. And I just believe 2.5 tackles is very easily attainable for one of the best players in the world.
We're not talking sacks. We're not talking sacks.
Total tackles.
Total tackles.
So I love that one.
All right. Well, I mean, I'm looking at some of these prop bets that always come out during the Super Bowl. The most heavily bet game in the world is the Super Bowl. And here we are with Super Bowl 58, and it's going to be just the same.
Yes, it is.
Usher is going to be performing at halftime. And you can bet on which song he'll perform first, who he'll perform with, number of songs that he's going to get in his list. But I like this one. What brand of shoes is he going to be wearing during his performance?
What's the leading vote getter there? Nike?
I don't. They're not coming out with that right yet.
They're not coming out with it. They're just telling you that it is going to be a prop bet.
And here's a straight bet too. Minus 110. Will he be wearing sunglasses or not?
For sure. That's easy money.
Oh, really? You think so?
He's a sunglasses wearer.
I know he is, but he hasn't been.
He's not in the limelight right now, but I believe believe that is an easy one for the books. He will be wearing sunglasses. That opening song, that's going to be tough because you don't know if he's going to come out with right away. He'll probably mix that
build
in
up
later,
to it, right?
bringing out Little John and stuff like that. So that's going to be a harder one. The song that I want to talk about, Andy, is the first one, the national anthem with Reba. We're talking Reba.
We're talking Reba.
And we're talking 88 and a half seconds over under.
Oh, boy. Yeah, on the national anthem?
For the national anthem. 88 and a half seconds. And it's plus money right now on the over. Plus 100.
Well, she's going to, I mean, what do you mean 88 seconds? I mean, 3.5 minutes, or what are you talking about?
No, 88 and a half seconds, which would be a minute and 20 and a half seconds.
Yeah, you think she's going to go over that?
She has to, right?
She's going to go way over
and
that.
She's going to prolong
she's gonna belt this out.
She's going to prolong
country
those.
Singer.
Yeah.
She's going to,
I think that's a very good one to hop on right now.
88 seconds.
Over 88 and a half seconds. So I really like that one.
Yeah, that's over.
I think it's great.
Yeah.
I think it's great. So this is, they only have these at like $100 max play until the rehearsal is out because they can really, pinpoint that. So I think this is a good one to get on right now because I believe that she's going to belt this out longer and longer and longer. One more that I want to get on, a little zany one, Andy. I talk about it every year. Color of the Gatorade first dumped on the coach. I believe I've hit this the last couple of years, Andy.
Last year you could see when it actually came out when the information was not made public, but somebody told. Yeah,
somebody knew, and just right now. It's got a plus 115 bet on the two colors that I really like, red and purple. They're pushing them together on my book at a plus 115. I believe it is going to be one of those two colors. So I'm getting two for the price of one right now. I would just go red, no matter what.
I think it's red.
But I'm getting purple on it just in case. Any other color is minus 155. So if you're a betting man.
But that's exactly what happened last year. As soon as that color came out, what was it? Blue just shot through the roof.
Just right through the roof. So I like red just because both teams are red. It's going to be a good one. But I like that plus 115 money when you get two colors, especially one of them being red.
I found this kind of interesting. Getting back into more serious betting lines.
Yeah.
Okay, San Francisco, they're your 2.5, 1.5 point favorite, depending on where you're looking.
Yeah.
However, your Super Bowl MVP odds, Patrick Mahomes is out in front at a plus 140.
Yeah, Andy. And
does that make sense? One team's favored to win the game, but the other team has the favorite for the MVP?
It's just
like, what's going on here?
Well, what's going on, Andy, is the books just don't want to get smashed on with a whole bunch
one side or
the other. So you got to look at Patrick Mahomes obviously being that Super Bowl MVP, but you go down that list a little bit, Andy, and you get a little value with some of those other guys. I'm trying to bring it up now.
Kelsey's 2,100. Plus 2,100 is Travis Kelce.
Yeah.
Christian McCaffrey plus 450. And that's not bad.
That's the one that I'm looking at right now, Andy, is Christian McCaffrey plus 450 because you got to think Brock Purdy, he's sitting there at plus 220, but are they apt to give it to a guy with this many stars around him? Obviously, everybody knows that Patrick Mahomes is getting it probably if the Chiefs win the game.
Right.
He is the overall star of everything else. But Christian McCaffrey puts up 3 touchdowns in this game and really pushes that offense over the line.
You can see
plus 450 is a very good bet,
like
Andy.
that.
So
I do like that.
I really like Christian McCaffrey MVP odds right now. If you're on the Chiefs side, you got to throw that money on that plus money with Patrick Mahomes.
Like how we kind of reeled that one back in. We started to talk about sunglasses and types of shoes and Gatorade and got right back into it there. Now, you are the parlay pounder.
I am.
You heard the horn, so up against it. What do you got?
This is my way too early 4-team parlay for the Super Bowl, Andy.
All right.
It's at a plus 700 right now with these 4 selections. I got Isaiah Pacheco, anytime TD score, paired with Christian McCaffrey, anytime TD score.
Okay.
Then I got Brandon Ayuk over 62.5 yards. And I got Travis Kelce rounded out with over 69.5 yards. Like I said, plus 700.
Yep.
Bet, putting $25 on this to win $200.
Hey, you're putting your money on the stars, and it's a game full of stars for the stars.
Yep.
That's tough to go against that.
You just got to think that the Chiefs are going to get down to that, foot-yard line or 2-yard line, and Pacheco is that man in the red zone. You got to be thinking that Ayuk is going to get one of those long passes along with Travis Kelce with that workload. He's getting 70 yards, and then C-Mac, he's getting in the end zone. So I love this play right now. Not putting a lot on it, $25 to win 200. Woo. It's going to be a nice little Sunday for me next week.
There we go. I like the plus money. I like the plus 700.
Plus 700.
Okay. Well, that about do it for us this week. Be sure to follow us on ESPN Tri-City Radio and their Facebook page, our Twitter handle, and also, if you haven't already, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. We're having a lot of fun on that and watching that grow, and the interactions, the comments, all that stuff's a lot of fun.
Yeah, it is a lot of fun, Andy. We like getting the flack, especially when we get them wrong. Give us the flack, but show some love when we win.
Yeah, I caught a little last week.
Yes,
that's to be expected. We also got some free picks out on TikTok, right?
Yeah, for sure. Make sure you tune in to TikTok, WTL Sports Betting. Before major games, obviously, we're going to have a whole bunch of prop bets out there for the Super Bowl. It's going to be a lot of fun this coming week.
For Jabron, the Parlay Pounder, I'm Andy Klassen. Thank you for listening. This has been WTL.